Not my will, but thy will be done, Lord. And that would solve all our problems. Father, thy will be done. The will of the Father be done. How much happier. Trump talked about returning to common sense, getting rid of all of this DEI, confusing the genders. Now that I have the power, I'm going to invoke my will of common sense on all of you. So he signed hundreds of executive orders, ordering, sending in his prophets, his police, to erase, to organize, to get rid of, to fire, to put right what's been put wrong. And God needs to do that in your life. As you wake up this morning, God's executive orders. He's clearing it out, cleaning it up, deporting, capturing, sending back to hell what has come into our country to cause hell. Get rid of it. He's coming in like an FBI raid. They went into Mar-a-Lago. They opened up the private drawers of his wife, their closets, their clothes, because they had something that didn't belong to them. Remember what happened with Israel? When Korah had that idol. Remember the idol he hid in his house? And God raided it, discovered it. See, God does his FBI raid. He'll come in your house. Man does it with the SWAT team, the FBI. The IRS does it to demand what you were supposed to give them. God needs to do it to you to demand what you were supposed to give God. But that's okay. You don't take God serious, but God's coming. He's going to raid you. He's going to send his FBI. He's going to do exactly what Trump does because God did it first anyway. He's signing an executive order. He's going to get what belongs to him. He's going to get rid of what he doesn't want. He's going to evict you out of his house. Adam got evicted out of the house. Because when he has enough, he says enough. 4 years of this Biden administration. How many years of your own administration when God is supposed to be administering your work, your home, your life? So you can't do it on your own? You're letting things in that shouldn't be in your house? So God's got to evict. He's got to come in because he has to, because he's giving you 4 years. God bless President Trump, setting the model for even Christians to get their act together. No, too late to get your act together. Setting the model what happens when you haven't gotten your act together, what God has to do. And what did he say? The parents are back in the house. The children are no longer in control. Thy will be done. You have children, many of you. Your will is done. The child has an illusion that it has some choice, doesn't it? But your will is done. They go to bed when you tell them. They eat when you tell them, and they eat what you give them. They have little control. And because of it, if you're a good parent, you don't abuse that because you know they have no control. You try to keep them happy. Occasionally you spank them and yell at them, but you try to keep them happy. In a way, you feel sorry for them because they have nowhere to go. They could not eat without you. They could not be protected without you. So you administer benevolence and grace because they are weak, helpless, little ones. So you protect them, and you protect them even from yourself, because you know, as God had to withhold his anger from Israel many times, else it would have devoured them. So sometimes, as parents, you hold back your anger because they're little ones. You control it so as not to totally devastate them or traumatize them. You try to fill their life with joy. Some of us grew up with parents that did a lot less than joy, and they were very angry. The children have little will, but you're training them and teaching them to choose the right thing, to do the right thing. And the older they become, the less control you exert over them. And you find out, are they obedient? We get to the age now where you didn't have to worry about them in their room. Now they're teenagers, so you got to search their room to see what they hid, what they brought in the house. Who brought this in this house? And you find all kinds of paraphernalia that they shouldn't have. All kinds of violations. That's what they did during Prohibition. They find things that they shouldn't have. They find your marijuana little garden in the backyard or on that farm, or they find the moonshine liquor making barrels. Well, God has the same right, does he not? To come in your house and find what should not be in that home, bust it up like they did with Al Capone, drag you off. That's what Trump is doing. Thy will be done. And it gets to the point, and it gets so bad that the kids start fighting back with the parent. And then what do you tell them? Get out. This is my house. As long as it's in my house, it's my rules. Aren't you in God's earth? Aren't you breathing God's air? His house, his rules. I'm sure you understood that when you visited Vegas or that casino. You can get bounced out of a bar. Even the devil has rules in his sinful establishments that you have to obey. God has rules. Doesn't he have the right? And you kick the kids out. Or you say, don't come back until you're ready to do what you're supposed to do. Yep. Yep. I worked for a guy, he fired people. Sometimes he rehired them. If you can come back here and do what's right, I'll let you come back. Some permanently banned. Others temporarily banned, suspended. And now you're out in the world on your own. During the recession, some children went back to their parents' house because it got tough. And the parents says, well, you're going to have to pay some rent. No, they weren't paying what they were paying on their own because of the recession. If they couldn't pay rent, they gave them chores to do. Here's some chores. You're not 5-year-olds. You're going to have to contribute to the home now in a different way as an adult. I'm not making you dinner. Now you're going to make the dinner. You see, we live in God's house. And we understand what the police do, what the IRS do, what the FBI do, what the criminals do, what the politicians do. We have no problem with it. We live with it. We accept it. We even submit to it. Is God not the cumulative of all of that? Is he not the FBI, the IRS? Is he not the politician who legislates the rules? Doesn't he have the right to do what he does and not be considered a criminal because it is his anyway? Thy will be done. Man is always exerting their will. Does God not have the right to exert his? Thy will be done, Father, on earth as it is in heaven. Thy will be done. So whatever it takes, sign those executive orders. Protect our borders. Protect our homes. Protect our children. Release those who have been falsely accused and incarcerated. Father, thy will be done. Tell the enemy that what you've stolen, you're going to pay back. Thy will be done. Tell the allied nations, it hasn't been fair. You are going to do more, and you are going to give more. Was it 5%, Trump said? Now it's 20. Thy will be done, Father. You robbed God. How have we robbed God? In tithes and offerings. Thy will be done. God signs his executive orders. Thy will be done. You've mocked God, maligned God, talked behind his back. Figure that one out. Attacked his messengers. Incarcerated some of them. Mocked them. Maligned them. Thy will be done, Father. You rejected truth and common sense over your own thoughts and your own mind. Thy will be done. Your own DEI. Not been singularly focused. Equity. There is no equity. Inclusion is only exclusion. One way, not many ways. One truth, not many truths. Thy will be done. Father, thy will be done. In my life, as it is in thy kingdom. Hallelujah.